Kiss That Frog is an audiobook that I've been listening to by Brian Tracy and his daughter Christina, or Christine, I believe her name is. And it's about, I have the tagline written down here, 12 ways to turn negatives into positives in your work and life. So basically how your negative emotions can negatively affect you in your everyday life and make you kind of stuck in the situation that you are currently in, and how to overcome those. And it is a great audiobook, I must say. If you haven't listened to a Brian Tracy audiobook, they're great. He narrates them and his voice is just so calming, and he makes you feel like you can accomplish what he's saying even though you don't know him, but just the way he comes on, you almost tell that he cares. Even though those birds, even though he doesn't know you. But anyways, Kiss That Frog is this book, this audiobook. So yeah, I've been listening to it for the last couple days, and there's one thing in particular that is really resonating with me through this time. I find when you're listening or reading personal development books, if you read them different times, certain things, like different things resonate with you each time you read them. I think it just depends on where you are in your life and like what's kind of happening and what applies to you at the time. Well, they mentioned forgiveness and how forgiveness is important. It's important to forgive people in order for yourself to move on. And I wrote down what he says in this audiobook because it's an audiobook. I had to write it down, and I can't just show you the book and read from it, but I wanted to read to you what really has resonated with me at this particular time of my life. If you don't know, I'm separated. I guess I can call myself single. I don't know. I've been separated for over a year from my spouse, and practicing forgiveness, even the times are not great right now, okay? And they go off and on, but mostly they're not very good between the two of us. Not that I don't know. We're not together, right? So you can put two and two together. So here's what Brian Tracy says about forgiveness in Kiss That Frog. Forgiveness is actually selfish. It's a selfish act. You're not doing it for the other person. He says if the other person thought that you were brooding over him and mad and angry every time you thought about him, that they'd probably like that, right? And it's true. They'd probably get a kick out of it, you not being happy and being unhappy because of them. And so forgiving them is actually a selfish act. And he goes on talking about forgiveness, about forgiving your parents, and other different circumstances. But I'm just going to particularly concentrate on the relationship portion of forgiveness. And he says, the way to practice forgiveness in a past relationship is to accept responsibility for your part, like for my part. Instead of blaming the other person, accept responsibility that you were responsible for getting yourself into the relationship and keeping yourself there. That is 100% true. So he suggests in order to forgive, how to really forgive in a relationship is to write the letter. Calls it the letter. And here's what you write in the letter. So you write a letter to your ex, accepting responsibility for your actions, like your part of the relationship. You basically you accept responsibility for your part in the relationship, and that you forgive them for their part. And then you go on to list like all the things that made you angry and that still might make you angry that happened in the relationship. You get it all out and list it all out. But remember, you also take responsibility for your part in the relationship. And at the very end, you say, God bless you, and I wish you well. And that's it. And then you mail it, and supposedly, I haven't done this yet, but supposedly when you mail it, because you can't get it back, you feel an enormous burden lifted off your shoulders. So you write a letter, accepting responsibility, listing the things that you're responsible for, I'm responsible for, forgiving them for what you feel they're responsible for, listing all the things that still make you angry that they do or did or have done, and then wish you well. God bless you. I wish you well. And that's it. And so the purpose of this is for personal liberation. Okay, it's you're not expecting a response. This is for you. It's a selfish act. Remember, it's for you, and you're doing it to let go, like to let them go. And yeah, you're writing it for you. You don't care how they react when they read it, if they're happy, if they're sad, if they're mad. You don't care. You wrote it for you. And then it's over, and it's closure, and that's what it's supposed to be. So this part really resonated with me because I am going through a tough time with that whole situation right now. And even yesterday, I just listened to it yesterday, this part of this audiobook, and I started writing out everything that I was responsible for. I haven't written out what I think he's responsible for, but I will soon, and I'm going to write this letter, and you can either write it and mail it, like in snail mail, or you could email it. But I'm going to write it out old school because I like writing anyways, so that works for me. But yeah, forgiveness, it's tough. Forgiveness is tough, but try to remember that you're doing it for you. You're not doing it for the other person. You're doing it to set yourself free. So I'm very much looking forward to writing this letter. Actually, I shouldn't say that. I'm not really looking forward to it, but I'm looking forward to the closure I hope to have after I drop it into the mailbox. So check out Kiss That Frog. I'm listening to it as an audiobook. I haven't got the paper copy or anything, but it's really good, really easy to follow. I love Brian Tracy, so maybe a little bit biased, but I love his work and what he does, and I apply. He does a lot of business books and things like that, but you can just apply it to your personal life just by switching a couple things, and it applies to your personal life as well. So I really enjoy it. So check it out, and thanks for watching. If you got anything out of this video, please consider giving it a like. I don't know what I'm doing here. And subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you tomorrow.